Welcome, my name's Zahara Celestial, and this is an Ascension Awakening energy update with information from the Pleiadians that came through to me last night. And so the Pleiadians wanted to convey quite a few messages, so I'll go through them now. And hopefully I'll try and keep them as brief as I can, so this is not a lengthy video. So the Pleiadians are saying that we are moving through from a stage of individually processing and being with our own awakening and ascension. There's enough of us, and enough of us who have come to a certain point to be able to hold a resonance together collectively as a group, which is now going to be growing, to enable a communion, a communication, a working with, be in relationship with in a more sustained way, because we are energetically, in our physical resonance, which is extending out from our heart's resonance, and because we are holding this in a more sustained way, holding a higher vibration, that those of a higher vibration are now able to be in communication with us in a sustained way. We're not moving back and forth between states of being. And even if those of us who still are, which includes me, that I'm still working through clearing and releasing, so therefore I will in certain moments be more focused on a certain resonance, but I'm now, as others are finding, that we're being able to shift out of those resonances much quicker. So we are able to hold this vibration for ourselves and in a group, and therefore this is going to be becoming more of a collective experience. And so the Pleiadians were relaying that they're going to be intervening much more frequently. We are going to be able to experience being in relationship with them and other galactic beings more often and for longer periods of time. Though, of course, in the other dimensional resonances, time doesn't exist, and if there is a concept of time, it won't be in a linear way. So do not be surprised if we experience the moments that we are in communication or in relationship or resonating with our galactic family of light, or the Galactic Council of Light, or however you just describe them, including the Pleiadians. It can seem as if it's very brief or very lengthy, because time does not function in the same way. Because the more that we are raising our vibration, it's actually a lighter resonance. It's faster. So a lot more can be experienced in a shorter time, in a way, if we were going to compare the two. So that they are conveying also an awareness, a feeling, if you like, an intention of excitement, of love. And they showed me visually of more of us gathering together physically. And because more of us are going to do that, we are going to be acting as beacons, because we're pillars, we're beacons of light. And then when more of us gather, then we create those like mini temples. And so then those resonances are able, they've got a strong homing beacon. They've got a strong message to come through, and so they're very excited because we're going to be collaborating with them, because many of us have been moving through remembering our starseed origin, remembering our souls originated in other planets or galaxies or universes, dimensions, other stars. So we were seeded in other star systems. And when we were remembering, we were like children and full of wonder and awe. And very much when we were remembering, we were still clearing a lot of our density, a lot of our emotions and the trauma and the programming from the old system. And so many of us have moved through that, or moving through that, and being moved through that much quicker in this intense awakening time. And we have moved from feeling that we are less than to realizing they are our family, that they are us, and we're becoming and are shining our light. We are realizing that we hold the same information within us because they are us, and they want to collaborate with us. It's not about being instructed or being pushed against our will. It is waking up to our divine will, our soul resonance, our heart, our soul paths. And this leads on to the second major piece. There were 3 pieces of information they relayed. The second was about our DNA. They said that DNA is not an object, it's not a thing, it's not just in the way that science might describe DNA. DNA is alive, full of memories, libraries, codes, and has a being, a sense of being. They were saying that everything that is alive is a being and is part of divine and divinity, and has a high soul, energetic truth, resonance, communication. And so the DNA is the seed of creation, is the seed of divine source communication. It's full of divine resonances and codes, and it's not just a mechanism, it's not just a thing. And the more that we are able to realize that this is how we perceive ourselves, the old system is very objectifying. That's the very polarized view. It separates, it labels, very controlling and very narrow. Whereas part of the awakening ascension process is being aware of how expansive we are. We're within the physical body, it goes into infinity. I mean, even the scientists are finding this out. And the energy that resonates within resonates externally into infinity as well. And that the physical body is not it's permeable. It is alive. I know it's a strange thing to say, but such is the programming that there's even, I think that's why there's this, in a way, desire or interest in artificial intelligence and robots, and the belief that that would extend life. And the other layer to that is that, and with everything that I share, I always assume, but I'm going to just relay again, some of it you might resonate with and some of it not, because we're all unique. So this next bit you might not resonate with, but that's fine. Just take what does resonate. It was a few weeks ago, I was shown by my Galactic family of light the artificial intelligent structures that were implanted within our DNA that would hold a resonance. So this wasn't just symbolic, this was actually a factual intervention that had been made by galactic beings that felt that they were helping. So I'm not going to go into focusing on that because that can be a whole enmeshment and programming itself to get lost in looking into conspiracy and the darker forces, whether that be in the humans or the galactic ones. That was just to share the information so that there's an awareness, so that we know that that is there, so then we can release it, because denser vibration relies on remaining hidden. And the more of us that are shining light on our shadow aspects, on the density, be that emotions, trauma, or programming, whether that's the programming from the ancestors, the behavior, or the cultural system, the belief systems, or the actual, and that is actually carried through in our DNA. It's carried through, we're born with those memories in the DNA. So there have been other beings or intentions that wanted to shape that. Like, we as humans are now looking into how to work with the DNA to eradicate disease. So we're catching up to wanting to do that. So the Pleiadians are very much, we're bringing in an energy. So moving on from that is very important, because the Pleiadians are very much wanting us to focus on what is natural, that our DNA, that soul vibration, that divine spark, and our human bodies naturally want to, and it's easier to go into a healthy way of being, a lighter way of being. It's easier to do that. But it's the programming, the density that's kept many of us sort of enmeshed, knotted in. It creates confusion, and it's what we've been used to. But it's the message they wanted to say was, it's actually, that is false. And it's actually easy, that the vibration that is being brought through now, and that is resonating more and more within each of us, is about ease. The higher dimensions are all about simplifying, in a way, moving away from the confusion, the clutter, the complexity, which is the density, to more clarity, more simplicity. And with simplicity, there's innocence, and with that, there is wisdom. There's no need to make things convoluted and complicated. There's no need for conflict. So the essence that they were bringing forth as joy was to bring us back home. Because many of us over many years have been feeling homeless because we have lost touch with our heart resonance. Many of us, in our remembering of being star seeds, that has been part of the process, because then we've remembered how happy or how profound it was when we were in that resonance. And so being on Earth has felt more of a hardship. It's physically heavier, it's denser, and what's been going on with the programming and the dis-ease, and the trauma and the polarization, the conflicts, has been hard to be with. But there's been part of our journey which is about being with that joy of remembering, then being with the grief, if there is grief or sadness of the loss of not being there, to realizing that is part of our soul path, is to emanate and bring that here now, that is here now. In fact, that is quantum, that we have been we've brought ourselves here so that we can be that heaven on earth resonance, that it was only lost and forgotten, that and in fact it's always been there and it's in our DNA. And that's why many are working, like I've been working and been shown, about activating the so-called asleep or dormant DNA. Like our minds, you know, the scientists have said most of our brain is asleep, dormant. There's a lot there that is beginning to wake up more and more. And what they wanted to share, and it really came to me really clearly this morning, is this is our natural evolution. It's not going against anything. It's not having to fight about anything or battle our way through or fight of the dark forces or the dark galactic ones. Light and divine energy is more vast, is in everything. It's only because we've been blinkered or, you know, been pushed down in a density vibration that we've thought that that's all there is. But that is over. That preoccupation was the word that was coming through for some reason, but that programming, belief, the blinkers, the blinkered view is no longer having the scales have tilted in a way. But why I'm struggling with this at this point is because that's just a perception that we felt that there was always a battle or we're now winning, because that's just the 3D inverted matrix patriarchy, however you shape it, way of perceiving, because the divine light's always been there. It's never going to be pushed away. It's so vast, it's divine, it's source, creation, light, powerful beyond all. So very much our evolution, our awakening is to that which is already there, which is already us. That is what the programming is. The programming is fake. That's why people call the existence as like holographic, a hologram. It's lied to us. We've been wearing masks to perform in it. It's been a grand play, and more of us are like going, what's going on? Which is kind of ironic, given that this the viruses and the government's advice is to wear masks. There's a lot that's being played out in the collective consciousness, which, if you imagine it was a dream, what would it mean? Because it is extraordinary times. The different realities are being really, like the choices are being really stretched so that we can really see them. Things aren't being hidden anymore, which means it seems as if the different realities are very extreme at the moment, but it's so that we can really see that we have choice. And that's where we are at the moment, is choosing which resonance, which reality do we want to collaborate in, because we are co-creating it. That reality of the old system or the more vibrant, healthy one that's all about choice. One is being told what to do in a way, it's about control, and the other is freedom and choice, which can seem really scary, moving from, oh, I know where I am, it's all defined, I get a certain wage, to oh, I don't know who I am. Is there something wrong with that then? it's being in the unknown, it's being the co-creator. And so the last piece of information, again, they showed me in the sense and the feeling and the and emotion in a way. The Pleiadians showed me an image, and with it was shifting from our idea that we are doing this ourselves. And of course, we will be focused on that because we're in a singular body. We're evolving from realizing there's much more interconnections, multi-dimension energy. It's much more fluid than that. But we are in this physical, individual physical vessel. And what they wanted to kind of help push through was that Mother Earth, she is a being, she has a soul, Gaia, and she is evolving, and it is her natural evolution, and she is carrying us through that. Now, she is like us, not victim to this. She is choosing this. And she, in a 3D way, again, I'll call them the scientists, as if they all just sit in a permanent room and come out with information. But anyway, astronomers and other physicists said that, you know, the Earth moves around, and we know that there's movement because the sun rises and sets, and then the moon, and there's rotation, there's spiraling, there's movement, and this happens in the 3D dimensional way. But also, because she has a soul, she, like us, has different aspects that are resonating and existing in a higher dimensional way. What is happening, like us, is this is all converging. We're coming to a significant like meeting of timelines are converging. So then when they say that certain timelines are dissolving, in that as we're clearing ancestral trauma, as we're clearing, and with that it could be karma or contracts or programming, we are no longer unconsciously or consciously holding on to those resonance, holding on to those cords, attachments, energies, bandwidths, and so that have intention. So we're not bringing all that baggage with us there. As we work and release those resonances, they disappear. And so we are able to come into alignment with our soul intention, with our souls, with our divine free will. So we're not all scattered. This is what is also happening alongside soul retrieval. We're beginning to remember more because we're getting lighter. We're having more space. We're not cluttered and pushed down, holding all the density of all the baggage and being preoccupied in that. As we lighten our load up, literally, we create more space, and therefore we can hear, we can sense there's more space to be. Like the more subtle energies, which are lighter, are not being drowned out by the louder, denser energies. So Mother Earth Gaia, she's moving in a 3D way, but she's also gathering momentum. She's also gathering the other resonances to be in the now moment, present. She can be shining like we are coming to be sovereign beings. We are holding this resonance with her, and she's moving the energy faster and faster as we move through our ascension awakening process. Energetically, our energy is moving faster. Hence, we're having sort of weird experiences like deja vu, or time feels really different. So she is actually creating a field, an energetic field, to move us all with her. She's birthing us, and she is actually working on a vast energetic way, in a quantum way. She is creating this huge energetic river of light, intention, love to move us. So it won't be in a linear way, but that's in a way they showed me that it's going to be much more multidimensional. And so there were 4 things actually, I remember now. That was the 4th thing that they wanted to share, was that when they communicate, because they are multidimensional, they communicate many things at the same time. In a way, it's very efficient way of being. It's not 2D, 3D, it's multifaceted. So that's why when people tune into like an angelic being or a galactic being, different people will receive different pieces of information because it's so vast. And it doesn't mean that one person is right and one person is wrong. That's a very 3D polarized view. It means there's so much information. So as the more that we are able to raise our vibration, which we're doing naturally through our clearing and releasing and healing work, the more we will be able to hear the subtleties and the layers, if you like, the multidimensionality of the communication. And the way we do that is through letting go and being and surrendering and hearing through our heart. We hear not just through our ears, but through sensory. So telepathy isn't hearing. In a way, we can relate to how some whales hear. They don't have ears, they hear with their body. And whales, just as a tag on, are celestial beings who were seeded outside of Mother Earth, and they're mappers of the planets and the stars. They are record keepers holding that divine intention. They are immense beings, huge intelligence of the heart, and they have birthed in the waters of the womb, the Mother Earth, to bring that sound, that resonance, to keep that sound and that resonance alive in Mother Earth. So that's quite a lot of information, and more of us will be getting more information, basically. So that's the end of that. I am going to, at some point, I've got quite a lot to catch up with. I've been getting a lot of information coming through, but I would like to put this down in writing, so and put that on my website. So basically, it's a time to celebrate. It's very intense because the light is shining on everything, and it is a natural evolution. It's not something we need to fight against or to figure out even. It's naturally occurring. And it's because of all the work that we've done that this is why we're in this accelerated evolution. Because of everything we have been and are and will be coming into the now moment. I call it the now moment of all possibilities. So thank you so much for watching. All we need to do is tune into our hearts, and then they can tune in with our hearts and with us and be in communication, union communication. Lots and lots of love, lots and lots of joy, lots and lots of love.